There is one PC part that could save you days, not to mention some hard-earned cash, but you know, it's just too bad that most gamers kind of keep these things out of their rigs. But that changes today, because today we're taking a second look at the humble hard drive disk, or HDD for short. And you might be surprised by just how much you've been missing out on. Now, I know what you're thinking. They're bulky, they're slow, and cable management is a pain. While there is no dodging these accusations, physical drives may be one of the best, not so secret additions to the modern gaming PC, especially if you want more money in your pocket and time for other things, like learning how to make beautiful buttery croissants. So bust out your box of SATA cables, because we're about to reclaim some of your life right here, right now on Robeytech, after a word from our sponsors. If you're still searching for the perfect gift for that tech-forward friend, that family member, or that roguishly handsome devil in the mirror, fear not. Newegg is piling on some extra holiday cheer with their Dealcember event, with cost-saving bundles and deals on everything from pre-built PCs, monitors, laptops, CPUs, storage cases, and more. Scoop deals like this 1000-watt PSU from MSI, or Corsair's 240mm IQ-Link all-in-one liquid CPU cooler, both priced for $109.99. But if you're looking for a whole PC, Newegg has deals on pre-built PCs like the ABS Aquilian Aqua, featuring the 16GB RTX 5060 Ti for $1299.99. Or go mobile with this RTX 5080 equipped HP Omen Max laptop for $2,049.99. And if you want to give the gift that keeps on giving, check out this 1440p WOLED monitor from Asus ROG for $525. This event will only last through December 25th, so head over to Newegg.com and click on the Dealcember banner for the full list of holiday deals. Oh, and if you missed it, Newegg will be running after Christmas sales too. But big thanks to Newegg for sponsoring this video. Real talk, what's the first thing you do when you see this? Chances are you scan your Steam library for a game or 12 that you bought on sale and you haven't played in a while, and you just delete them.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Space reclaimed without a problem, right? But let's do a little thought exercise. Let's say that the game you deleted was Destiny 2. Fast forward a bit, new content drops, your friends are diving back in, and they're all waiting for Discord for you. But you remember that you deleted the game? Well, now you have 140 gigabytes worth of regret in your future, and no matter how fast your internet connection is, it looks like the fire team will have to wait a couple of hours. Unless you didn't delete the game, or any other games for that matter. Instead, what if you move them onto a high volume drive, like one of these drives from Western Digital? And before we go much further, we need to give a shout out to WD for sending us a bunch of their drives for this video and for inspiring the video. Though this video is not sponsored, we appreciate them supporting our little thought experiment. Now, moving games instead of deleting them introduces a whole new set of questions. For starters, if you've never shopped for a hard drive, what do you even look for? Are they all the same? When compared to an SSD, is there like a dollars per gigabyte benefit to a hard drive, or does it kind of even out? And if you do get one, how do you actually install one, manage the cables, and get it set up? And most importantly for this video, is this even a real problem, Robey? In other words, is there an actual real-world benefit to using a physical hard drive? I know that last question is probably the most important one for this story, but before we can answer that, I want to try something. Let's use the example in the intro. I'm going to head over to my Steam library, say goodbye to Destiny 2. Now, let's start the download while we go shopping. If we pull up to any major e-tailer and look at the internal drives, it gets pretty dizzy quick. Even narrowing it down to Western Digital, they have just about every color of the color wheel represented. Blue for productivity and creatives, red for network attached storage, purple for surveillance system, gold for enterprise and data centers, and black for gaming, which you would think would be the play for our test since we're talking about gaming. The WD Black hard drive still has a part to play in this conversation since they're designed with a dual-core process and DRAM cache to help manage the flow of data. This would be the right play if we're looking for a drive to launch our games from, but what we're looking for is pure storage with fast transfer speeds, high capacity, and low cost relative to the size of the drive. And for that, we're going to be looking at this guy, a WD Gold drive. I know I said these puppies were for data centers and for enterprise, but in a lot of ways, that's exactly what we're putting it to work doing, serving as high-capacity storage to move large files around. What about the cost? At the time of this video, you could pick up this 10TB WD Black hard drive for $269.99, or a 26TB WD Gold drive for $572.49. Now that is a lot of money, and these prices could be wildly different after we release this video, but hang in there for a minute because we're gonna look across the landscape here. When looking at the largest capacity NVMe drives on the market, the cap right now is 8 terabytes. Now just looking in WD's backyard, the PCI Gen 4 WD Black SN850X is retailing for $790 for 8 terabytes, while the PCI Gen 5 version, the SN8100, retails for around the same price as an RTX 5080. That's $1,049. Now again, I know the prices are subject to change and they're ridiculously inflated right now, thank you AI and data centers, but this climate has people like Stemsky asking whether or not they should buy an NVMe drive now or whether we anticipate it getting further out of hand. What we do know is that right now SSD prices have steadily gone up over the past few months, while hard drives show some year-over-year inflation. If we take an apples-to-apples approach with the drives we're looking at and compare the 8 terabyte model of the WD Black and the WD Gold drives, we're looking at $209.99 for the WD Black and $239.99 for the WD Gold. When we do a $1 per gigabyte perspective comparison, and remember there are 1,024 gigabytes per terabyte, there is an unsurprising difference, but you have to see it. See, the WD Black hard drives come in at 2.6 cents per gigabyte. The WD Gold drive trails a little bit behind at 2.9 cents per gigabyte. But then the NVMe's leap up to 9.6 cents per gigabyte for the PCI Gen 4 drive and 12.8 cents on the PCI Gen 5 one. Keep in mind, this is the ceiling for NVMe right now. Now, if you really wanted to go for max storage potential, 10 gigabytes is the ceiling for the WD Black physical drive, and 26 terabytes is the ceiling for the WD Gold. We look at the dollars per gigabyte for those, the WD Black is on par with its 8 gigabyte counterpart at 2.6 cents per gigabyte, while the WD Gold lands at 2.2 cents per gigabyte at the current prices. Again, $570, it's a lot of money, but it's also over 3 times the storage capacity of either NVMe drive at the moment at a lower price. Let's say you hear this and decide to take the plunge. You pick up a new hard drive, and then what? What the heck are you supposed to do with this thing? Now, some of this next part is going to depend on your PC case. Most cases have some type of drive bay or mount inside of the case, unless you pulled it out and threw it into a junk drawer to be forgotten. If you did that, go ahead and fish it out and reinstall it. Next up, you're going to need 2 cables, a Serial Advanced Technology or SATA 3 data cable and a SATA power cable. The data cable will plug into your motherboard while the SATA power will plug into your power supply. Plug them into your newly installed drive and make sure that you do some cable management. Once the drive is installed and the cables are set up, it's time to boot up. Right-click on the Start menu and then go into Disk Management. From there, you can format it like you would an NVMe drive. We're going to go ahead and name our drive the Volt since that's what it's serving as. Now, the final step, since we're using this drive for Steam games, is to go into the storage settings and select Add Drive from the menu. And from there, you have it, mass storage for your Steam library. And by the way, this also works on Battle.net as well. Okay. We've talked about value versus NVMe drives, and installation wasn't too harrowing. Now to the real question. Does using a hard drive actually benefit you versus deleting and re-downloading your drives? I mean, I made a pretty bold statement about saving you an entire day of your life, but is that really the case? To really see if there's a benefit here, we downloaded 7 titles onto a 2 terabyte WD Black SN850X NVMe drive. The size of all of these files totaled over 730 gigabytes worth of games. Overall, the download took about 2 hours to complete. When we charted the speed of the download and installation from internet to NVMe, the average speed was roughly 106 megabytes per second. Now, when we look at moving files from the hard drive, it took 47 minutes in total to move 730-ish gigabytes of game files to the WD Gold drive, and transferring them back was only about 43 minutes. For comparison, when we were moving files, we saw an average transfer speed of around 270 megabytes per second, over twice our download speed. In total, it saved us 24 minutes and 38 seconds, which doesn't sound like much, let alone an entire day. But there's a catch. Our download speeds are based off of a gigabit internet connection, and remember, bytes and bits are 2 different units of measurement. When we look at the median download speed for the state of Washington, according to speedtest.net, that's only 293 megabits per second on average. And according to the research team over at UMA, a communication provider, the national average in North America is actually closer to 214 megabits per second. For context, that 106 megabyte per second installation speed we saw translates into an 848 megabit per second connection. almost 4 times the national average, so we're working with a significant advantage over most. If we scale the time to download with the average, it would take an entire 9 to 5 workday to reinstall all of those games versus the hour and a half it takes to move on and off of a physical hard drive. Do you know what I could do with 8 extra hours? I could start learning a new language. I could get a good night's sleep. I could make a brisket. I could hike up Mount Rainier from Paradise to Count Muir. I could finally map out chapters for my Robeycat fan fiction. I'd say you get the point, but let's be honest, the probability of anyone downloading over 700 gigabytes worth of game data at once is very low. What's more probable and more true to life for me is that I tend to offload at least 2 or 3 games a month to keep current. And I'm not talking about uninstalling Commander Keen here. Commander Keen always stays installed. We're not talking about a small amount here. On average, I'm talking about 180 gigs worth of games. So quick math here, if I was doing that every month and if I was on an average internet connections, the difference between transferring games both ways to and from a hard drive versus re-downloading them, the difference would add up to over 18 hours per year. And if you look at this over the course of a 5 to 7 year lifespan of a typical gaming PC, we're looking at up to a week's worth of time spent downloading, especially if you're trying to spend any time sleeping in there. Look, I know there's a ton of hyperbole there, and no one's typically watching their PC throughout a download, but there really is a case to be made that this adds up over time. Now, as much as I'd like to use YouTube magic to suggest that our Destiny 2 download is still going, that would be a lie. We have very fast internet in the studio, and these videos take a while to shoot, so it's been done for a hot minute. So where does that actually leave us? If you're a gamer, you probably have more than one game on the go, and you probably have a bunch of storage already. Sometimes all your games seem to get hit with a big patch all at once, and sometimes a new game drops, or sometimes you pick up 10 games you've always wanted to play because they were on sale. And all of this has to live somewhere. Hard drives can be an awesome practical alternative to buying another NVMe drive. Not only that, but they can save you a significant amount of time over their lifespan and a bunch of money compared to the current state of NVMe drives, if you're the type of person who keeps games in constant rotation. While this makes less sense to the type who plays a game and moves on with their lives, investing in a high-capacity hard drive can be a whole lot more appealing than making your wallet and watch weep. And best of all, keeping games part of your downloaded Steam library ensures that when you're ready to bring them back into rotation, it'll be up to date with the latest patches. It's kind of like having your own personal Blockbuster video with all kinds of easy access to content that's ready to enjoy, just without the weird carpet stains my Blockbuster had, or just the fact that I miss Blockbuster in general. As we wrap this one up, we want to say a huge thank you to Western Digital for sending us drives again for this little thought experiment. But we want to hear from you. Did this impact the way you think about hard drives or teach you something new? And if you've used physical drives in your PC, what are the pros and cons that you've experienced? Let us know all that in the comments below. Now, if you like this video or you learned something, we'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. We have a lot more content like this coming here at Robeytech, Robeytech Live, and on all of your other favorite social media platforms. And hey, if you have questions or you want to talk more about this video, hop over to our Discord server over at discord.gg/Robeytech. Thank you so much for watching this, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.